Am I the asshole for making an if is not ready on time, he stays home policy against my wife's wishes? My wife and I have a 3-year-old boy. He currently goes to daycare during the day. I generally drop him off, and then my wife's mother will pick him up. My wife cannot drive, so she unfortunately cannot take him. I have found that if I get my son out the door by 8:45, I can get him to daycare and then be on time for work. Unfortunately, my wife tends to drag her feet with getting him fed and ready, so she has caused me to be late multiple times. I am in a field where I simply cannot be late, and therefore this situation is unacceptable. I have been late 4 times since he started going to daycare, and my wife has only gotten less consistent. Last Wednesday, I realized that if I waited for my wife to get him fully ready, I'd be late to work. I simply walked out the door. She called me screaming angrily, but I told her that if she didn't want him to stay home, she should have had him ready on time. The next day she managed to get him out right at 8:45, but on Friday it became clear again that she was going to cause me to be late. I just walked out the door. She texted me multiple times, and when I got home at around 11 p.m., she had a lot to say about it. I don't think I'm the asshole for my policy, seeing as I simply cannot afford to be late to work, but I wonder if there's something I'm not seeing here. Not the asshole. This is completely and utterly ridiculous. You are working 13 hours, not getting home till 11 p.m., and then doing chores before you go to bed. Your wife doesn't drive, doesn't work, doesn't look after the kid all day, and still cannot get him sorted on time so you can take him to daycare and be at work on time and not lose your job. The job that's paying for her entire lifestyle to do nothing. This is a bigger problem than the kid not being ready on time. This is a come to Jesus talk time with your wife. Not the asshole. Okay, after reading the comments. Guy works 2 jobs to essentially pay for everything while his wife is not employed and doesn't drive because of anxiety, and is not home till 11 p.m. and has to be asleep within the hour he's home. With the child being at daycare during the day, all that would be left for the wife to do potentially is dinner and maybe some light cleaning. Not even laundry, since OP does his own. Either the wife has postpartum depression or just doesn't want to do it. Wait, you leave at 8:45 a.m. and don't get home until 11 p.m. I'm not saying you're wrong. More info is needed, but it's starting to make sense why daycare is necessary. Not the asshole. Your wife is either depressed or extremely lazy and manipulative. Get her to go see a doctor. You should not be working 13 hours a day whilst she sits around doing nothing whilst child is on daycare. She can't even be bothered to do your laundry. Was she working before she got pregnant? Not the asshole, but what you are doing is unsustainable. You are going to burn yourself out. Also, you are missing your kid growing up. I have to ask, what does your wife bring to the table? It doesn't sound like much. You are working 2 jobs, doing laundry, and probably more chores around the house. Your wife is getting the child ready in the morning, and how long does her mother stay after dropping him off from daycare? Info: does your wife work? If she works, even from home, I think you need to be a father and take responsibility for getting your child ready to go in the morning to be ready when you leave. Edit: honestly, it sounds like you have bigger problems in your marriage than just how quickly your kid gets ready for daycare. Sounds like you're working yourself to the bone, and for what? Info: what are the circumstances your wife thinks you don't understand? Not the asshole. I mean, honestly, this subreddit is mental. This guy is out of the house from 8:45 until 11 p.m. working 2 jobs to pay for his family's lifestyle while his partner is unemployed. And still has to do housework when he gets home, barely getting to sleep by 1 a.m. And some of these posters think he's an AH for not helping her out in the mornings. JFC. Based off your other comments, not the asshole, but I would suggest editing your post with the answers you keep having to answer. I have read through the comments and Ops replies. OP, your wife sounds outright lazy and entitled, And it sounds like she almost enjoys the victimhood of the situation. She has the makings of a terrible role model, let alone mother, if she's going to pass on these traits to a child willingly. OP, it's time to lay down the law respectfully, and if she is not willing to come to the party, you know what to do. Info: does your wife work from home? Not the asshole. Your wife needs to pull her weight in the marriage. SAHW is overwhelmed with one kid, but you are alright with 13 hours workday. You're her husband, not just her meal ticket. She has responsibilities towards you, your marriage and kid. This is no way to live, OP. You will get seriously burnt out. Take care of yourself first and get her the reality check she needs. Until your unemployed, able-bodied wife needs to get a license, and from your other comments, a job. Not the asshole. Based on your comments, follow-ups. This situation seems really untenable. You're working 2 jobs and she seems like she barely fulfills the SAHP role at all. What does she do all day? Not the asshole. Since your wife doesn't work, why is your son in daycare at all? You're working yourself into exhaustion 14 hours a day, and she's a stay-at-home mother who's not taking care of your kid during the day. Something is off here. I feel sorry for the child. Doesn't appear that the mother is a fit parent given her mental state, and the father is working insane hours to provide for the family. Why does he need daycare if she's unemployed? Not the asshole, but what kind of family dynamic do you all have? I literally cannot see one reason how your wife is worth all this trouble. Get yourself out, dude. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If you're late too many times, then you get fired from one or both jobs. Then what? If your wife wants him in daycare, then it's simple, she gets a job to pay for the daycare. This is not sustainable. You'll get so run down that a simple virus knocks you flat for a week, or you burn out and have a nervous breakdown. Then everyone loses. From reading your replies, your wife seems like a sack of useless shite. NGL. Not the asshole. Get your wife to fix up. Not the asshole. Your wife needs to step it up. You're working 2 jobs to afford the daycare so she can do less, but she can't even do that one thing. Work less. Not because you are wrong, but you are protecting her from life, which you can't. Not the asshole. What does she expect you to do? Lose your job because she can't be on time? Get out of here. Unpopular opinion, I'm going with not the asshole. Since you're working 13 hours a day, do your laundry when you get home, and the only reason he's in daycare is because your unemployed wife is overwhelmed. By what exactly? I'm not sure. She sounds depressed. NTA, why is he going to daycare? If your wife can't be a psalm while you work 2 jobs BC of anxiety, I doubt she can routinely get him ready every day by 8:45. She seems to be not good at doing things in general. But still not the asshole. Ntar. Stop paying for daycare. It's her job if she's not working. She's a stay-at-home nothing right now. She can either get up early and have him ready, or she can actually do her job as a psalm. Not the asshole. But sorry you got stuck with 2 children to take care of instead of a wife and child. Your wife needs to get her shit together. Your situation cannot continue as it is. What happens if you get sick and can't work? Basically, your wife either needs to be an adult, get a job and contribute financially, or you take your son out of daycare. Honestly, at this point it sounds like you would be better off as a single parent. Reading all your responses, I would say not the asshole. Your wife needs some help. They have pills for anxiety. Ending daycare would go a long way to helping you out. You could probably find a part-time helper for her cheaper than daycare. Just a thought. Not the asshole. You are working for your wife's lifestyle, not have no life, and you're missing out of your son's life too. Not the asshole.